I did decide to come back through because I'm up and, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. That is usually the time that I'm really channeling and, getting information and shit like that. So I wanted to come back through and I wanted to talk about something that I had meant to talk about with BOB and Panic when I had a conversation with them, but I didn't get a chance to because we were all talking about so many different, things. I want to talk about the DL. Now, I've spoken about the DL, the download, whichever one you want to call it, in detail before, but I want to talk about it a little bit more because I want to just touch on some things that I might have missed in, the first video that I had did on it. First of all, when it comes to the gay agenda, it's not about an individual gay person such as myself who is a gatekeeper who is living their life and not fucking with anybody. See, that's totally different than the gay agenda because what I don't do, I don't force myself and I don't force my so called, lifestyle on anyone, including especially heterosexual black men, because I have respect for heterosexual black men. I have respect for black women too, but I especially have respect for heterosexual black men when it comes to not, trying to force my sexual orientation onto them. I try my best to be respectful, and not to force my energy on them because I wouldn't want them forcing their energy or ideas on me. That's not being a self hating gay person or being a homophobic gay person. It's just a question of having respect and not trying to force your reality onto other people. And this is not condoning any, irrational anti gay people. I don't give a fuck about them motherfuckers as long as they stay away from me and I won't have to put something on them to destroy them and pull the earth from up under them. Let's just say that. And I've done it many motherfucking times. So I'm gonna put that to the side over there. So when it comes to the gay agenda, what people have to really understand is that yes, there is a gay agenda, but the gay agenda is also used as a distracting agenda as well. So while everyone, especially in the black community, is so riled up about homosexuality over here, over there, they're creating shit like they've done with the coronavirus to cause even more problems for melanated people than homosexuality has caused, I guess, in their opinion. You feel what I'm saying? So the gay agenda can be used as a distracting tool to distract from other agendas that are much more detrimental to your subconscious mind and to your essence in general. Let's go back to the late 90s when dinosaurs ruled the earth. In the late 90s, we saw a lot of different television shows like Ricky Lake and others that had segments on interracial dating. And this does loop around into the gay agenda. But people are not paying attention to it because, the black community really does not accept homosexuality. I get that, and I'm not here to argue that. I don't need anybody to accept me. I'm grown. So I'm not here to tell the black community what they should and should not accept. I'm an occultist. I don't get involved in that shit anymore. That's beneath me. People can accept or not whatever they want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to debate that. But I just want to point something out. In the 1990s and the early 2000s, we started seeing a lot of talk shows tackling the topic of interracial dating. And, at that time, it was mainly black men and white women. That was the main, tool that they used, you know, because they know that that is a trigger for black women to see black men with white women. They knew that that was a sensitive spot and a very, very strong trigger, for black women in the black community who felt like, white women were taking, their men. So what ended up happening was is that as time progressed, you started hearing black women on the other side saying, well, I date white men for various reasons. And black men said they dated white women for various motherfucking reasons because of X, Y, and Z about the black woman. And the black woman said the same thing about the black man. So that created a rift right there. And I'm not saying that there weren't issues with black men and black women's, relationships prior, but that was the era that I came up in. I'm only going by what I saw. So let's get to the early 2000s. Now there's a new agenda out called the DL, the Downlow. There's a new narrative that's being painted. Now we just came out of the late 90s, with movies like what was that movie? Ringmaster. That was the Jerry Springer movie that came out in the late 90s. And, there were characters in that movie. Michael J. White played in that movie. He played a gigolo, not a gigolo, but he played a dog where he was cheating on his girlfriend. And then they went to the Jerry Springer show to get down about that, to talk about it. And he was fucking the white girl who was also there for her own separate issues. You know what I mean? All of that was subliminal program. And you saw how that played out. If for those people who've seen that movie, just go back and look at Ringmaster. Look at the subliminal messages when Michael J. White went and fucked that white girl, while he was mistreating his girlfriend, his black girlfriend. Just go and look at that. All mind control. So we get to the early 2000s, and now there are whispers that all these black men are on the DL. All of these black men are messing with other men. Now I have to tell you something. I'm gay. So there's not much anybody can tell me about this lifestyle. Not saying that there aren't DL men. Not saying that I have not had my share of DL men. But at the same motherfucking time, what I can tell you without a doubt, most black men, they're not on the DL. Most black men are straight. And see the narrative, and see all of this was done to emasculate the heterosexual image of the black man. And see, that's where the gay agenda comes in. It has nothing to do with me being an individual gay black person. People can like it, they can love it, they can fuck it, they can tuck it. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to like dick no matter fucking what. I don't give a fuck who that offends. Simple as that. You ain't gonna do shit about it. You can't do anything about it. But the problem comes in is when people try to attack you simply for being who the fuck you are without any provocation. But this narrative started being painted, and it was solidified. This narrative about black men being on the DL or the down low. This narrative started being painted and pushed out into the motherfucking omniverse to cause even more mistrust and division and chaos and confusion between black men and black women. Because let me tell you something, if there are no relationships between black men and black women, then there is no black magic, because that's the black magic right there. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just talking. I'm just saying. Oprah Winfrey, the queen of all agents, She had a person come on her show that wrote a book called, and see, this is how you know a, another thing. This is how they use words to try to shift and change your energy and try to program your subconscious mind to believe certain narratives that are not true. She had this guy on her show. I'm not going to mention his name, but I am going to mention the book, or at least what I think the name of the book is. I think I'm going to get most of the book right, the name of it, but I don't know the entire name of the book. I've never read the book, but I remember that segment on her show. And it was about men on the DL. Okay? It's one thing to spread awareness. Okay? It's one thing to spread awareness. It's another thing to push out a fucking lie based upon very limited small experiences. I cannot say that most black men are on the DL. I can't say that. And neither should he have said that. So he wrote this book claiming to be doing this, as a service to expose, men on the DL. But in actuality, he was pushing out an agenda. He was pushing out an attack against the subconscious mind of black women and black men. The name of his book, And to Emasculate the Heterosexual Black Man's Image. Listen to the name of the book. The Secret Life of Heterosexual Black Men Who Are Married But Sleep with Other Men. Now, I'm sure that there are black men that sleep with other men that are married. I'm sure of that. But the narrative that they were trying to paint was that it was all black men, or most black heterosexual men. Well, first of all, the title alone is using a form of neurolinguistics to try to program your motherfucking mind to make you think that that shit is true. And if you believe it, then you'll receive it and you'll manifest it. And that's the reality that has been created based upon that motherfucking lie, or based upon that fucking mind control or that spell that was put out about black men being on the DL. Now, this man who wrote the book, he claimed to be an openly gay man who was married at one time, but he was having sex with men behind his wife's back. Again, this isn't about, whether it's right, wrong, left, right. It's not about that. I'm an occultist. I don't deal with emotions. I deal with the occult. I deal with the occult and the symbolism behind what people may do, especially people who go on to national, syndicated TV shows pushing out a narrative and an agenda to cause harm to the subconscious mind of black men and black women, especially when it's not all based in truth. Because most black men are not on the DL. Most black men are not gay. Most black men are not bisexual. Most black men are straight. And that's the hidden motherfucking truth. Now, when it comes to the DL, or the down low, now I want you all to listen to me very carefully when I say this. And this is what I really wanted to discuss with B.O.B. and Panic. When it comes to the DL, first of all, when you think of the word DL, well, let's call it out. The down low. When they're talking about the down low, this is going to loop back around to the subconscious mind. Before I get into that, let me back up for a minute. What I was saying earlier about the interracial dating and stuff like that, the interracial agenda is intertwined with the gay agenda. Because I just told you how it started out on those talk shows with Ricky Lake in the 1990s, with black men and black women both distancing themselves away from each other through the process of interracial dating. And then they brought in this guy to come on Oprah's show in the early 2000s to usher in a new form of a tool or a new form of mind control to further divide black men and black women, to create even more dissension. So the gay agenda is intertwined with the interracial agenda as well. Now back to what I was talking about the DL. When you hear the word down low, what they're talking about, or the symbolism behind that, they're talking about the root chakra, and they're talking about the underworld. The underworld, root chakra, all correlate with each other. That attack, that was one of the biggest attacks to cause division between black men and black women when that man went on to that show to promote that bullshit ass book, to try to make it seem like the problem was he was trying to make it seem like that heterosexual black men were having sex with men behind black women's backs. Heterosexual black men don't have sex with men. So let's be clear about that. At least not in this aspect. Let me put it that way. Heterosexual men don't have sex with men. So that's how you know, even by the title of his book, that that was an attack. And it attacked the root and it attacked the subconscious mind. It attacked the root because down low is symbolic of the root chakra. Down low. The root chakra is all about stability. And what he did was, with that entire DL narrative that was pushed out, which was a spell and mind control, that entire narrative that was pushed out, what it did was it caused an uproot and a destabilization between black men and black women. It was an attack on the root chakra, the root. That is what the down low is. They're talking about the underworld, down low. We are the underworld. On the flip side, there's another aspect to it. See, this shit is not just, one thing or one aspect. On the other hand, when people are talking about the DL, they're talking about, because they're talking about niggas. Let me start with this first. It's mind control designed to attack heterosexual black men or the black man, because anytime you hear the word DL, I promise you, the first person that you think about is a nigga, a black man. That is the first person that you think about. And it was designed to do just that. That is why when you hear the word down low or DL, your mind is programmed to think about a black man, because that's exactly what it was programmed to do. I'm a gay man telling you all what the what's up is. And I know that sounds fucking strange, but I'm truth. And I'm telling you how I see it. Most black men are straight. I'm going to break that motherfucking spell right now. Most black men are straight. But like they're doing with social distancing, they want black women and black people to feel isolated, alone, and not together. That's why they came up with the interracial agenda. And I'm not talking about anybody that happens to fall in love with someone who is, of another race. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when people are using it as an agenda to cause emotional and psychological harm to black people. You know what I'm saying? So the other part of the D, I just wanted to say that first, but the other part of the DL is this too. When you think about the word DL, you're thinking about men who are having sex with each other in secret. So they're doing something in the dark. They're doing something that is hidden. They're doing something that is not known. So the other thing, or the other aspect of the DL, is the subconscious mind. So when you're thinking about anything that is hidden, the DL is also symbolic of the hidden part of you, which is your subconscious mind. What are you doing in the dark? That's the thing. You're doing something in the dark. They were hitting and attacking that hidden part of you. They were hitting and attacking the subconscious mind. And what is the subconscious mind? The sleeping motherfucking Osiris. Osiris is symbolic of the subconscious mind, and Osiris is also the lord of the what? The motherfucking underworld. So this was a perfect attack to attack two birds with one motherfucking stone. So the DL is nothing more than the hidden part or the shadow part of who you are. It's the dark part or the unknown part of yourself, doing shit in the dark that no one knows about. Now, we're not talking about condoning deception or no shit like that. Only, occultists will understand what I'm saying. This ain't about condoning, deception or causing people harm or anything like that. I'm talking about the occult and how they weaponized the DL, how they weaponized that word to attack the subconscious mind and the root and uproot. Remember, to attack the root and to uproot it to create destabilization inside of you, inside of your subconscious mind, that hidden part of you, which is symbolic of the DL doing things in the dark. That's all the hidden part of who you are. But anyway, I just wanted to come through and I just wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to, just expound upon that a little bit more. I think I talked about it once before, but sometimes things evolve and you want to add more things to it. But that's all I really have to say. Thank you.